Welcome to the Sencast. My name is Dale Pickles. I'm the Managing Director of B Squared and the host of the Sencast. If this is your first Sencast, then welcome to the podcast. Everyone has come here, including me, to learn more about special educational needs and disability. In this episode of the Sencast, we discuss sensory processing. How exactly does it impact on daily life? My guest this week is Neal, an occupational therapist specialising in sensory processing, and Ali prides herself in finding solutions to everyday problems experienced by children and young people at school that actually work. The Sencast is created and produced by us here at B Squared, and I normally mention our assessment software on this podcast, but this time we're going to talk about Eversense. Eversense is our evidence and parental communication system. It feels like social media, so it's extremely easy to understand and use for both school and parents. And it's an extremely secure system to use, which is a safe place to share evidence of learning with parents or external professionals. It's also a great way to capture pupil voice. You don't just have to write it down. You could record a video. And don't forget, you can also use it as your homeschool diary and your reading diary. Visit the B Squared website to find out more about Eversense, or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me so I can take you through Eversense and what it can do for your school. Now, let's get on with that podcast. My guest this week is Neal, an occupational therapist specialising in sensory processing, and Ali prides herself in finding solutions to everyday problems experienced by children and people at school that actually work, and supporting teachers to incorporate those into their already busy days. Ali runs School Sensory Solutions, which provides regular and cost-effective training for all educators supporting SEND and neurodivergent pupils in schools via an online learning platform. Welcome to the show, Ali.
Hello, Dale. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Now, sensory is one of those areas everyone's a bit blasé about. When people think about sensory issues, they think about loud noises, ear defenders, strong smells, something that everyone understands and that could cause a sensory overload. But there is so much more going on in everyday life that we don't even notice.
There is indeed. I am a self-confessed sensory geek because I just see how sensory impacts on every single thing we do in our day-to-day lives. And it's complex. It's taken me years of study to try and understand it, and it still takes a while to try and figure out what's going on. And I'm often asked, how do I explain? Why does sensory impact on daily life? What is it? It's not, as you say, it's not just about loud noises and smells. Why does it impact in the classroom, at home? What's the relevance of it? So many people ask me, I thought, how can I best explain this? And I thought, I know. Let's take an everyday activity that every single person does, or most of us do, that usually is something that's quite nice for us to do. And let's have a look at the sensory processing components of that and what happens when they go wrong. So, are you up for playing along with me?
Yes.
Did you bring your sweet along with you that I asked you to do?
Yes, and I haven't eaten it yet.
Excellent. Okay. Anyone that wants to play along, stop now. Go and grab a sweet. Go and grab something to eat. Come back. Play along and let's have a look at what are the sensory processing components in having a sweet. That simple everyday task that we do. So first of all, you get the feeling that you want to have a sweet. Might be permanent for you, Dale. Sometimes it is for me. But let's just go with you. You get the urge. You want to have a sweet. So maybe you've had a bit of a rumbling in your tummy that tells you you're a bit hungry and you want something to eat. Maybe, if you're like me, I get to about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I have a real sugar dip and I need something then just to pick me up and see me through till tea time. Or maybe you've had a really bad day. Supposing we get to the end of this podcast and Dale tells me this is the worst podcast he's ever done. How dare I come on as a guest? I'm absolutely useless. And do you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm probably going to eat the house dry because that's going to make me feel better. I'm just going to eat everything in sight because, do you know what? Comfort eating, it does work, doesn't it? It does help.
It does.
Wish it didn't, but it does. For whatever reason, I've got that urge that I want to have a sweet. So I go to my cupboards, I go to the shelves in the supermarket, wherever I go, and I scan those shelves and I see I've picked, what have I got here? I've got a lemon Moam. I've picked the lemon Moam that I think, yes, this is what I fancy having right now. I see it, that's what I want. When I've seen it, I can reach out and I can pick it up. And I know how much force to apply to pick up my Moam. I don't hold it so tightly that I crush it, and I don't hold it so lightly that I drop it either. I know just how much force to apply to pick up that sweet. When I've picked it up, I can feel the edge of the wrapper with the skin on my fingers and my thumb, and I can make my two hands work together to unwrap my sweet. And some of the time they're doing different tasks. So this hand's holding the sweet, this one's doing the unwrapping. For anyone that's not watching, I've got one hand on my sweet, the other hand's doing the unwrapping. I'm waving a sweet around in the air while I'm talking, if you're just listening to this. So our two hands are doing different tasks, but they are working together. I can now hear the rustling. I can hear Dale rustling his sweet. I know he's playing along and he's opening it. I can hear that sound. I can smell my sweet now. I start to smell it. So I unwrap my sweet. It's sticking today. It's hot today, isn't it? My wrapper's sticking. It's proving a little bit more tricky. Okay, we've half unwrapped our sweet. When I've unwrapped it, I can get my sweet into my mouth. And that's quite clever because we can't see our mouths, but we know where they are, don't we? And I can get that sweet accurately into my mouth every single time because I know where my mouth is. When it's in my mouth, I can taste it and I can feel it as well. I feel the texture of my sweet. I'm flooded with that lemon that I know that I'm going to feel from my lemon Moam here. Once it's in my mouth as well, I know what it is that I'm supposed to do with it. I know, is this a sweet that I chew? Is this a sweet that I suck? Is this a sweet that's going to melt in my mouth and just dissolve on my tongue? I know exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do with that sweet. And also I can move the sweet around in my mouth. So if you're playing along, Dale, if you've got your sweet in your mouth, can you put it between your left teeth on the left-hand side? Can you move it into your right cheek? Can you put it between your front teeth? Can you make it do a cartwheel on your tongue? Yep, you nodding along. Yep, you can do all of that. And this is now your permission. You can eat your sweet because you've got it in your mouth. And I can see Dale here on the camera. And I can see that actually this looks like it's going okay for him. This task I've given him of eating a sweet, it's gone all right. He's nailed it. He looks quite happy. No disasters going on there. Yep, feeling okay with that, Dale? Yep, thumbs up. He's doing good. And what we've had here is we've had a whole series of sensory experiences. We had the thing that we felt inside, the things that we saw, the things that we touched, the things that we tasted, the things we smelt, the things that we heard. But our brain hasn't seen all those as separate things. As far as our brain works, we've just had a sweet. That's all we know that we've done. We haven't thought about it any more deeply than that. But we've had this, in order to have our sweet, we've had this whole series of sensory experiences, and they all needed to go really well in order for us to have that sweet successfully and for it to be something that we've enjoyed doing. And that's the sensory processing component. It's taking information from all of those senses and using it and interpreting it correctly. Correctly maybe isn't the right word, but effectively, that's a better word that I'm looking for. We've used that information effectively so that we've managed to do the task that we set out to do, which was eat our sweet. Now, where we have a problem is where some of that information doesn't get processed effectively. So let's start back at the beginning. If you can bear with me, let's start from the start, beginning again, and let's see what could go wrong in that process. So let's imagine I've got this churning in my tummy, but I don't recognise it as hunger. And so I say, I'm angry with you, Dale. Why have you brought me here today, Dale? I'm really angry. Because I've misinterpreted that churning in my stomach as being angry rather than being hungry. I mean, who gets hungry? Who gets hungry, rather? I mean, I'm a big yes on the hangry front. Everyone knows that I get hangry. I start getting a bit tetchy. People feed me and it works. We know that it's really easy to confuse those signals between hunger and anger because I definitely do that. But in terms of regulation, the strategies that you'd use if you were hungry as opposed to if you're angry, well, they're totally different, aren't they? And no amount of calm down strategies in the world are going to work if I'm actually hungry. What you need to do is give me a biscuit instead, and that's going to work. So from a regulation point of view, it's really important to know which one it is. And if our sensory processing isn't great, maybe we mix those signals up and we don't know which one we need. So we can't make good choices. We can't use strategies effectively because we don't know what it is that we actually need. That's step one. Okay, let's move on. We've worked out that we're hungry. That's fine. We go to the shelves. We look for the thing that we want to eat. And do you know what? There's so many things there. There are so many different packets. There's different fonts. There's different colours. Some of the packets are really shiny. The light's bouncing off them. It's hitting me in the eyes. And I might go, oh, do you know what? Forget it. I can't find the thing that I want to find. Just forget it. It's not worth it. I'm going to walk away. It happens to me sometimes in the supermarket if I'm looking for maybe a specific baked bean. You know, the big supermarkets where they've got the huge expanse of different baked beans, and maybe I want the low salt ones or the barbecue flavoured ones or whatever, but you're there scanning the shelves going, where are they? Can't find them. It's really easy to then walk away and not get the thing that you need in order to regulate yourself because it's just been too difficult to get it. Can go wrong there. All right, let's say we've worked that one out. We've looked at the shelves. I found my lemon Moam that I want. I reach out to pick it up and I apply the wrong amount of pressure to it. Now, if I drop my wrapped Moam on the floor, that's not really a big problem. If I squeeze it so hard that I crush it, again, that's not really going to be a problem. But let's imagine I'm in school and I'm in primary school and I've gone up for my lunch and I've got my tray and I'm going along the counter and I pick up my food from my tray, on my tray, lovely. I start walking towards my seat and I'm holding my tray so lightly that it slips through my fingers and it falls at my feet. And my dinner goes everywhere, all over the floor, all up my legs. This actually happened in the school I was in last term. And this poor little girl just sobbed her heart out. She was so upset. The dinner ladies were wonderful to her. They were lovely. But just how mortifying is it? Do you want to go back in the dinner hall tomorrow and repeat that? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want to go through that again. Maybe we have the opposite problem. We've got our dinner tray and we're holding it so tightly we've got a death grip on it. We're hanging on to that dinner tray with all of our might. We get to our seat, we sit down, we've made it. We go to cut up our fish finger or whatever and we apply so much force with the knife that it flies across the table and hits somebody else on the nose. Everyone laughs. Not great. Or maybe we go to pour our drink from the jug and we tip the jug up with so much force it floods the table. Again, everyone laughs. Not a great experience. Maybe we don't want to go through that again. That could be where the problem lies, that we don't want to go in the dinner hall. Maybe. Okay, let's say we've done that okay. We then come to unwrap our sweet and we can't find the ends. Exactly what happened to me, actually. I couldn't get the second half of my sweet unwrapped today. Usually I'm okay with sweets, but it's a bit hot today. My hands are hot. My sweet's a bit sticky. But wrapping presents and finding the end of the sellotape. Oh, okay, I've struck a chord there with Dale. How frustrating. You think, yep, quickly wrap this present and we've got to get out the door because we're going to a birthday. I can wrap the present in 30 seconds flat, no problem. Well, 2 minutes later, I'm still there trying to find the end of the sellotape. It turns a simple task into one that's really quite frustrating and takes a lot longer than it should do, and then I'm late and I'm all flustered just because I can't feel the end of that sellotape and get it unwrapped. Makes the task really hard. Could be a problem there. Okay, maybe that one's gone okay. So we've unwrapped our sweets and I've unwrapped it and I've heard the rustling. You all heard the rustling, hopefully, when Dale unwrapped his sweet. that's fine because it's our sweets. Thanks, Dale, for the cue there. It's our sweets. That's fine because I know that's going to happen. But I've done this training live with maybe 100 people. When they all unwrap their sweets at the same time, it's really quite loud. That's also okay because I'm in control of that and I've asked them to do it and I know exactly when they're going to do it. But when I'm in the cinema and the person behind me, Dale's face knows, he knows where I'm going with this. The person behind me starts rustling their wrappers. Oh my word. Drives me wild. And all I can hear is them rustling their wrappers, or they're whispering, or they're talking, their phone's beeping, whatever noise they're making. It drives me wild. I get lost in the fact that I'm really irritated that I can hear them, and I've paid a lot of money to go to the cinema. Really irritated that all I can hear is the noises behind me. Next minute, I've missed what's happening in the film. I've lost the crucial moment. I don't know what's going on anymore. It's just, the whole experience is just ruined because I now don't know what's happening on in the film. Might as well go home now because I've just had enough of it. So, yeah, that could be the problem.
I'm relating to that a lot these days.
Yeah.
It's getting older, it's getting worse.
Definitely getting worse. It drives me nuts, as you can probably tell. Okay, we've done that. We've unwrapped our sweet. We try and get it in our mouth. But if we haven't got a great body map, maybe we don't know exactly where our mouth is. And maybe our food goes over our face. We make a bit of a mess. We drop it. It goes everywhere around our lips. We look a bit messy, untidy. We don't know that it's there. We don't know to clean ourselves. We wonder why people are giving us a little bit of a wide berth. I mean, I love kids. I have kids. I work with kids. But do you know what? Kids with messy mouths. Yeah. And they come in for a hug and I'm like, just give you a little wipe first, shall we? But I give that reaction because actually that's the one thing that I'm not great with is dirty faces. Gives me the ick slightly. So maybe people don't want me near them and I don't really know why. It's all gone wrong. Maybe we get the sweet into our mouth fine, but it doesn't taste or feel the way that we expected it to. Now, my lemon moam I know how that's going to taste. I know how that's going to feel in my mouth. It's going to be exactly the same every single time I have it. But a blueberry, well, now that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Blueberries, quite dangerous things because maybe they're juicy and they're going to explode with juice in your mouth. Maybe they're dry and crumbly. Maybe they're sweet. Maybe they're sour. You don't know where you're going with a blueberry. And don't get me started on a packet of Revels. Oh, remember Revels? They're still around, aren't they? Different coloured, different types of sweets covered in chocolate. They all look really similar. So I like most of them, but I really don't like the orange flavoured ones. I think orange and chocolate have no place in the world being together. It's one of my things. You offer me a packet of Revels and I'm going to go, I could get the peanut one, I could get the Malteser one, I could get the caramel one, that's great. But what am I going to do if I get the orange one? I'm going to have to spit it out and that's grim. Nobody wants to see me do that. How am I going to manage this situation? Do you know what? I'm just going to say, no, Dale, thanks. Thanks for the Revels. I'm not hungry at the moment, or I'm on a diet today, or I'll give you some sort of flannel. I'm going to walk away from that one because I don't want to take the risk. But at McDonald's, you know where you are with that? It's exactly the same every single time you have it. It looks the same, it tastes the same, it smells the same. It's even presented exactly the same way. In fact, you go in the restaurants and they all look the same. They may have slightly different layouts, but you know where you are in a McDonald's, don't you? You can visualise it now. You know what it's going to look like, and that's exactly what it will be like. So maybe we have a problem because it doesn't taste or feel the way that we expected it to. And if our body awareness isn't great, maybe we haven't got great control of that sweet in our mouth. Maybe we can't do the things that I got you to do, moving it around your mouth with skill. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe you don't know, is this a sweet that I chew? Is it a sweet that I suck? Is it one that just dissolves? Maybe I don't know exactly what I should be doing with my mouth and I don't have the coordination to be able to do that or the body awareness to be able to do that. So maybe I dribbles out with my lips, makes me look a bit messy again, not pleasant. Maybe it unexpectedly goes down my throat and chokes me. That's a different ball game. That's really scary. That's really quite threatening. It's life-threatening if you start to choke. So maybe that's the reason why I don't want to have my sweet. So actually, there you go. I've talked for a long time, haven't I, about having a sweet. But can you see that if there's a problem with any part of that sensory processing, that task that we think is really straightforward and quite pleasant might not go so well for somebody. And it could just be any one of those stages that's a problem and our person doesn't want to have their sweet. And I've talked about having a sweet, but of course you can apply this to any task that you do in daily life. I can give you a breakdown in a similar way for any single thing you do as part of your day-to-day life. And the trick for somebody that's struggling, where we think it might be for sensory reasons, is then working out where the problem is so we can try and do something to solve that specific problem. Whoa, there we go. I promised you it was a long one.
I don't have to talk. I love it. I just like it when I just sit in a podcast. It's like, I can just sit and listen and talk and eat sweets. How is
What's
this
not
ever
to
going to
like?
be a bad podcast? So a couple of things. The dropping the tray.
Yeah.
I did this as a fully grown adult in control of all my senses. I did that in a Morrison's last year.
Uh-huh.
I got one of those salad boxes. You know, you can fill it with the different bits you want.
Yep.
I was holding it perfectly fine. But because it touched something, it just changed the bit I was holding, and I wasn't holding it tight enough for it not to move. As soon as it hit something, knocked someone's bag or basket, whatever it is, I dropped it. That salad opened, splattered out all over the checkout area in Morrison's.
And how did that make you feel?
Like a 6-year-old who's about to get told off by their mum. It was like... And the lady just went, go get another one.
So you're not
Which,
the only
again,
one it
made me
happens
feel like
to.
a 6-year-old as well.
Yes.
I wasn't treated like an adult. You paid for it. You cleaned it up or anything. It was, did you drop it? Go get another one. I felt like a proper 6-year-old again.
Yep. Yep.
They're walking through there again as that poor person cleaning up and just looking at you going, really, an adult, drop this.
It happens, and that we don't often think about grading force as being part of sensory processing. Like you said at the beginning, we think about noises and smells and feel of our clothes and things, but grading force is part of our proprioceptive sense. If we're not great at that, we apply the wrong amount of pressure, either too much or too little, and it causes no end of problems. It's
We all have a friend
yeah,
who, when they open up a pack of sweets, covers the room.
yes, sprays them everywhere.
You're like, you're an adult. How have you not got this? Well, perhaps. And it's one of those things of, and again, when you watch a child doing it, for you're going, it's not as simple. You have to put a bit of force in. But for that child, it's almost like that's all their force. So they have to go all in, which means there's lack of control.
Yes, absolutely. And it can be so misinterpreted. It can, if you're applying too much force, it can often be misinterpreted as aggression. And it isn't meant that way.
Or you have that child who's opening the crisp, but they're squeezing it with the rest of their hand, which makes it go pop and it'll fall out the bottom.
All fall out the bottom. Yeah, it's really interesting watching people do tasks. There was an adult that I worked with who was in a secure hospital, actually, so did have a history of aggression, but I watched him doing cooking, and every single thing. He opened the spaghetti and it went everywhere. He turned the tap on and sprayed water up his body. He stirred the sauce and it slopped over the side of the front of the pan. He put his plate on the table so hard that half of it fell off. It was just, the signs were constant. This chap does not know how to grade force. And then you have to revisit the aggression. Is it aggression, or is it just you applied too much force for the thing you were doing at the time?
Definitely. And the other thing is talking about putting that food in your mouth.
Yes.
You can see I've obviously got a lovely beard. It kind of, especially if you like anything with a lovely cream topping,
Uh-huh.
it kind of just takes the top off
Uh-huh.
the moustache. But you don't feel it.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't think we have tactile receptors in our hair, because otherwise it would hurt to get our hair cut.
So you end up eating something and then you literally have a moustache on your moustache, or you can have food around your face, but you can't feel it.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware that that could happen. And there's lots of things like that. Eating with your mouth open, you learn. And you mentioned about dribbling.
Yeah.
There are lots of kids who don't. And I remember when my daughter, my eldest, was 18 months old, we went for a day out somewhere, and it was just after Halloween, and they had loads of those little bags of Haribo, with like 6, 7 sweets in. They're like, well, you want one? And it's like, oh, it's first Haribo. Yeah, why not? And I gave her one, and she put it in her mouth, and she was looking down, and she put it in her mouth, and I don't think she'd had anything like that texture before.
Yeah.
And it's quite bouncy, isn't it? It doesn't really change until you properly get going on it.
Yep.
So she took that bite, opened her mouth, and it fell out.
I can see how that could happen.
So, okay, it's all right. Have another one, but look up a bit so it doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
I think fourth or fifth sweet, she finally got, keep your mouth closed and don't look down. And that's when my wife turned up and had a go at me for giving my daughter Haribo. But it's just all those little things you talk about. I can go to like flashbacks of my children when they're young getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's always a learning opportunity. It's always them going, okay, this isn't working, realising and adapting. But you've got to sense and notice and feel to adapt.
Yes, absolutely you have. Or you need to then cognitively learn that you need to check, like you checking your beard after you've eaten something creamy. You're wired up. I know that I have to go and check and look in a mirror because I don't feel it. So, yeah. But it's learning those things, isn't it? It's coming up with those strategies because they make the world of difference. And knowing where somebody might be struggling then opens it up for us to think about, how can we help them?
Yes. And that thing about the Moam and the blueberry. Moam every time.
Absolutely.
Never. But it's purely that certainty about what's going to go into my mouth. And a couple of years ago, went up to Scotland with the family on our summer holiday. And I don't know, in the southeast, everything is a branded chain. Every restaurant is a brand of some form. And we're up in Glasgow, and I'm like, I don't want to eat in brands. I want to have something different. We popped to this little cafe, and my daughter was just a bit grumpy. She was 14, 15 at the time, just a bit grumpy. And I'm going, it's got lasagna, it's got the things she likes. Don't know why she's grumpy. In my head, I'm going, she's just being a bit of a snob because it's not in a branded or something. It's some low-level cafe. She's not happy. Get over it. And that's my thing was just like, I had lasagna or something, just normal food.
Yep.
And she was a bit grumpy, And the next day, she was going bungee jumping. This is the thing. She went bungee jumping. Perfectly happy with that, because in her head, I'm not allowed to jump off this bridge unless it's safe. They wouldn't be allowed to let me jump off with a chance of dying. So therefore, it's safe, and I don't have to scream. It's just going to be a fun experience.
Yep.
But we were up past the Edinburgh, Glasgow area. We're up further north, up near Perth. It's a bit quieter there. The petrol stations don't have the BP Wild Bean Cafe. It's an old school. It sells petrol, maybe a can and maybe a chocolate bar if you're lucky.
Yep.
So we're not going to be able to stop off and get a meal deal. We're not going to be able to stop off and get something she knows. But again, I still hadn't twigged this at some point. And where she did the bungee, there was a little cafe. I'm like, let's go get there. And again, she's being grumpy. I'm going, but it's got the sandwiches. What? But there's a thing. There's a burger cooked at home. There's a McDonald's burger. There's a Burger King burger. There's a Byron burger. There's a Five Guys burger. Yes, they're all burgers. They're all completely different.
Totally.
And what my daughter didn't like in both situations was nothing about the food. She couldn't predict what it would be like. If we'd got a Tesco meal deal, she would have had something she's had before, perfectly acceptable.
Yep.
If we'd been to Pizza Express, she knows exactly what Pizza Express tastes like, perfectly predictable. I put her in sensory uncertainty.
Absolutely.
It was the same sandwich, but it wasn't.
But it's not, is it? It's not the same. My daughter was the same with spaghetti bolognese. That was her thing. She loved spaghetti bolognese. And we go to a restaurant, she'd be, oh, great, spaghetti bolognese on the menu. And it would come and she'd just look at it. because it didn't look like mine. And then I persuaded her to taste it and it didn't taste like mine. And it was, yeah, the devastation there. A bit like me getting an orange revel. Honest, it's disaster.
It's when it happens the other way around, when they go out for dinner and have that spaghetti bolognese, go, I love spaghetti, then you cook it. They're like, that's not spaghetti. Feels really insulting.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. So at home, I'm not allowed to go out. If I have a barbecue, I'm not allowed to go out and buy burgers. I have to make them from mincemeat. We buy a pack of mincemeat
Okay.
and make them, and they'll eat that. But if it tastes wrong, tastes
wrong.
But it's just this sensory certainty. It keeps them regulated.
Yeah, you know where you are. Don't we all like a predictable environment? Or maybe some of us who are more sensory seekers prefer an unpredictable environment, but it's getting it right for that person.
That thing is, when you're ill, most people in this country, if they're feeling under the weather, there'll probably be something on toast for lunch. Might be beans on toast, spaghetti on toast, scrambled egg on toast. But there will be a meal we all have that brings us comfort.
There is, yeah.
And it is generally a pretty soft, blandish meal that's warm.
Do you know, it's Heinz chicken soup for me. That's my go-to if I'm unwell, and I don't eat it any other time. But that's the only time I crave it is when I'm poorly. Yeah, but yes, you're right. We all have those go-tos, the things that comfort us.
And it's generally not going to be harsh. It's not going to be intense flavour. It's not going to be it's going to be just everything about it's going to be safe.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things like that. So my daughter, again, a bit unsure about food. And there's lots of children probably around the country who every day in primary school have jacket potato for lunch.
Yeah, my daughter would be one of those as well.
Why? It's predictable.
Yep. You know where you are. You're also in control of your toppings because it doesn't come as a prepared dish. You get your potato and then you get asked, do you want butter? Do you want cheese? Do you want beans? Do you want tuna? You have a lot more control over the components of that.
It's just those sorts of things that as soon as you start seeing a child doing that, you got to go, there could be sensory issues. We're not talking doesn't like loud noises or strong smells. Finer, softer, smaller sensory things.
Yes. And remembering we're all sensory beings, so we all have our sensory preferences. Some of us like loud music, some of us like quiet places, some of us like working with the radio on, some of us like working in silence. That's all our sensory preferences. Where it becomes a problem is then when it impacts on what you're able to do. So your road trip to Scotland, if your daughter actually wasn't able to eat anything, that then becomes a bit of a problem. If it's just somebody complaining that they'd really rather have a Tesco's meal deal, and am I sure there's not a Tesco's around, which would actually be my son, because he's got a bit of a thing for a Tesco's meal deal. I actually had this with him last week and he really wanted a Tesco's meal deal, and it's like, well, sorry, there's a co-op. You're just going to have to manage. And that's fine. That's fine. He hasn't got sensory issues, but I guess what I'm trying to say is we all have sensory preferences. Our lives are governed by our senses. There comes a point at which that really impacts on what you can do in your day-to-day life, and that's when it becomes a problem that we need to try and look at solutions for, so that you do eat when you go on a road trip to Scotland.
There's just so many little things that when we talk about food, because I think everyone relates to food, and I think when you watch little children, you see them doing all the mistakes. Yeah, you watch them and you're watching them learn. But if we take that grip, holding a pencil, if you're drawing a line with it, anything, there's lots of little things you're doing where if you put too much force in, you might put a hole in the paper.
Yes.
Holding a pencil, or if they hold it too hard, what does that mean? Well, it starts to hurt after a while.
Yep.
So there's lots of little things that actually, if we see them maybe with that manipulation with the food doing things wrong, that's probably happening elsewhere.
Yes. And as an OT, that's very much how I work, because I would just observe how somebody's interacting with the world as a whole. And it gives you lots of clues because you see these patterns. like my adult gentleman who had accusations of aggression, and it turns out that, yes, there probably was some there, undoubtedly, but a lot of the issues were that he couldn't grade force correctly. So he's going up and patting somebody on the back and they think he's walloped them. That sort of thing. He was unsafe around small animals, not because he didn't like them, but because he was a big guy and he had no control over the amount of force that he applied. But I could see that through cooking. I could see that through art class. I could see it through so many different things that I was thinking, right, this is a pattern. This is a sensory pattern. This isn't just that I like going up and walloping people on the back. It's more than that, because I'm seeing this consistent pattern of we cannot grade force. That's the sorts of things that I'm looking for as an OT that tell me that, yes, there is a sensory issue here that we need to look at trying to resolve in whatever way, shape or form, be it remind you that you need to check your beard after you've had your dinner, or help somebody try and work out how much force is an appropriate amount to apply that other people like feeling when you pat them on the back.
I suppose there's things like there is always that sensory force where it's literally you directly impacting on the object. But like you talked about earlier, like if you pour a drink and you go full on and it goes everywhere, is it hard to you might have a child who actually every drink has always been poured for them.
Mm-hmm.
They've not actually done much water play because life's busy, COVID, they didn't go out much, things like that. So is it hard to identify maybe a child who hasn't had those experiences and actually just playing with them for half an hour, they build it, and actually difficulties?
Yeah, absolutely. You would see both, particularly on the movement side, because we are so much more sedentary these days. Kids play. Back when I was a kid in the 70s, 80s, you'd get on your bike, you'd pedal round to your mate's house, you'd go out roaming all day in the woods, building dens, climbing trees. Yeah, I was a bit of a tomboy, but those were the sorts of things that I really liked to do. Whereas I look at how children play now, and they're sat and they're on devices. My kids, when they want to connect with their friends, they connect online. They haven't got to move. So there's a lot of skills that we don't acquire because we simply don't practice them. Little bit different to sensory processing issues, but they can look really similar to start with because we just haven't had those life experiences.
There is that thing where you watch your kids pouring water and it's sort of a thing. And even now, there's lots of fail videos where someone doesn't, and when you have a large bottle, it's like a really posh thing, and a really large bottle of water, and they tipped it up. It's like, yeah, there's a time thing, and you're going to build up a lot of energy when it comes out due to the length. Part of it is you have to learn through doing.
Yes.
And there's that sort of thing. And yeah, as soon as you start taking that away, it could look like sensory, but it's like, okay, if we do this for half an hour, are you improved? Are you learning? Or are you still, half an hour later, still making the same mistake?
I went paddleboarding last week. We're recording this during the summer holidays. Is that okay to say that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. So I went paddleboarding last week. It won't make sense if this is released in winter otherwise. And yeah, the first bit on the paddleboard, my balance is terrible. Balance is not my strength by any stretch. It's something that I do find a challenge. But over the course of the week, I practiced every day. I improved. You could look at my balance issues and go, okay, she's got vestibular issues, proprioceptive issues. Yeah, those things aren't wonderful for me. I'm never going to be a gymnast or a David Beckham or anything like that because I'm not equipped that way. But if I practice something, I do get better at it. So again, it's giving those senses the information. It's giving them the chance to learn, to develop. And we would call that, in OT speak, we call that an adaptive response, that we've taken in information from the senses and we've used that to learn how to interact with ourselves and the environment.
I think with stand-up paddleboarding, it's you're standing on it. It's when you're seeing you falling, it's like, what do you tell your body to do? Well, I had no idea. And then you fall off. So next time you're going, well, I'll try to move my foot. Okay, well, that didn't work. You kind of, over that week, you're going, oh, okay, I'll watch them do something. Oh, that, okay.
Yeah.
And it's all those inputs tells your body that not consciously, it's going, that adaptive response.
Yes, absolutely. And it's how we learn. So we need to give children the opportunities to try things. We need to give them the opportunities to fail. Now, toddlers learn to walk by falling down. and getting back up and trying again and falling again and getting back up, trying again, like me paddleboarding. They're generally more successful in the long run than I was with my paddleboarding, but that's a side issue. But yeah, we have to give children the opportunity to fail. So when I do work like sensory circuits, for example, with children, part of that is allowing them to fail, but in a safe way. So we're not getting really hurt, but maybe we get a little bit bumped, because that's actually how we learn.
So just going back to the force, how much force you put on, how do you teach someone kind of, oh, that's too much force? In theory, you have a situation where they've got to be gentle.
Yeah, practice, giving them feedback, them seeing the outcome of what you're doing, giving different hints and tips about how somebody might change their technique. When it comes to handwriting, because that's a really common one when I work in schools, that kids are applying too much force or too little force. Carbon paper, if you can still get it. Make a sandwich with your top sheet of paper and then your carbon paper, another bit of paper underneath. And if you're applying too much force, can you write on the top sheet without it going through? You need a bit of a bigger sandwich, more layers of bread on the top for that one, because otherwise it's too hard. Or if you're applying too little force, can you write and try and make it come through on the bottom page? So you just start practicing those things. Light up pens as well, they're really good fun for that one. So either trying to make the light come on, the pens with a little toy on the top that lights up when you press it. So if you're not applying enough force, you could write with one of those and try and make the light come on. If you're applying too much, you could see if you can use it and not make the light come on. All sorts of different activities. So I'd usually take the things that the person actually enjoyed doing and wanted to do or had a difficulty doing, and let's try and work through that and see if we can improve that process.
Nice. One of the things you just assume everyone can.
Yeah.
And most children and most people, they learn through doing. You go to a restaurant, you eat a food you haven't had before, you're like, oh, okay, so that food feels like this. Okay. Either you're fine with it or you're not.
Yeah.
But you then know what to expect next time.
No. No, you don't. So lots of opportunities, but also keeping it safe for the kids that are really struggling with that. And talking about how things feel. Whoever talks to their child about what it feels like to be hungry and what it feels like to be angry and how you tell the difference. Do you ever have those conversations? Because most of us don't, but actually in work, yes, I do quite a lot. Try and separate out those feelings so that we start to try and learn which one we're feeling, so we know which one, what strategy we need to go and do about it.
And that's one of the ones where, as you get older, as that dementia comes in, again, you lose the idea that you're hungry. That person might be irritable, basically, I'm going to call it old hangry.
Yeah.
But they're in that zone of not happy. It's like they just need to eat, but they can't feel that again.
Yeah. And I do see that with kids in school as well, where snack is just left out for you to help yourself. If they don't feel hungry, there's no driver to go and have some snack. And then everyone wonders why they're a little bit tetchy when they come back in from break, and because they haven't had their snack. Or maybe they haven't been to the toilet. Or maybe they put their coat on and it's a red hot day and they've come back feeling really uncomfortable. For whatever reason, if we're not picking up those signals correctly, we're not doing the right things that our bodies need, and that makes us dysregulated.
I would say I don't have a great sense of thirst. I can get stuck into something and I can work away. My mouth doesn't feel dry.
Okay.
So why would I need a drink?
Yeah.
But if I don't drink enough, I get migraines.
So how do you solve that? What's your strategy?
I have large mugs or large glasses, and generally I count my drinks.
Yeah.
Literally, so it's not. I can't have a sensory fix. I can't go. I'll learn how to feel thirst because I'm busy. I've got my head in tasks. I'm going along, and we used to happen a lot of weekends where I really didn't pay attention. We'd wake up, have a drink, go out, come back, go to another job, come back, go back to another job. 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm going, I need to go to bed. I've got a really bad headache. And I realised that I had a drink 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, hadn't drunk till lunchtime. So just had to then go, right, so I need to come home, stop, have a drink, then do the next thing. And at work, I need to have at least 2 cups of tea before lunch. Another drink with my lunch, and I won't have a headache.
Yeah. And learning those compensatory strategies is great. That they work. That's brilliant. I like the plastic beakers that have got the times of the day on them, because they're a great one to take, particularly for school or kids that are going out wanting to be a little bit more independent. Your teenagers that are starting to learn that they need to drink, and they don't want parents telling them or teacher telling them. It's fantastic, because then you know where you should be drinking at what time of the day. I have on holiday, I get this. I did a post a couple of years ago about on holiday that I sit there with a water bottle and I know that I have to drink 4 of those throughout the day to make sure that I'm staying healthy. It isn't about feeling thirsty. Cognitively, I make this decision that I need 4 of those drinks and I will make sure that I've had them. Because you can't always rely on those internal signals, because they let all of us down sometimes. All of us neurotypical people get let down from time to time with those signals.
My daughter has the same sort of thing, so she has a water bottle. I go, how many of those drunk today? And she'll look at me, she'll go, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 1. And as soon as she says that, she goes, I'm going to, basically, she'll get up and get, and it is, if you don't have that sense, there's a way around it and counting your drinks, which means I can't, often me and my wife would share like a glass of Coke or whatever, and I don't do that, because then I don't know how much I've drunk.
Yeah.
It's not me being, you're dirty or you've got germs or backwashing or anything like that. It's nothing about that. It's, if we share this, I do not know how much I've drunk, and I need to know.
Yeah, because that makes a difference to your life. It makes a difference to the quality of your day and whether you can enjoy your day or whether you have to go to bed with a migraine. Whether we stay healthy, whether we recognise that what our body needs, the right amount of food, the right amount of drink, going to the toilet regularly, all those really important things. There's nothing wrong with having those compensatory strategies that we plan what it is that we need and when we need it to make sure that our body needs are met and we stay well.
There's lots of little adaptations you can do. So if you struggle, you can do that. But basically, what the main message from the episode is if you're having a sensory issue, eat Moam.
Yes. But not all the lemon ones, because they're mine.
Oh, that's the thing is, I won't like a blueberry because I don't know what I'm going to get. But I like the sour sweets because I know I'm going to get sour.
Yeah.
But I know it's that certainty of that it's going to be sour.
But clearly some people like that. 'Cause is it Doritos that have got that packet with that some will be really, really hot? Yes. So for some people, they like that unexpectedness. So what we can't do is assume that other people's sensory needs are like our own, because we're all really individual. And we need to allow for that.
And I personally can say, if you get the Revels, minstrels, easy to identify, Maltesers, easy to identify.
Yeah.
It's when you're coming down to the coffee or the orange.
Yeah.
That's the lottery.
Usually the peanut one's fairly easy. But so again, maybe if they were presented to me on a plate and I could see them, I might be inclined to take one, because I might feel like I'm really confident that one's, the minstrel one. Because you're right, that's a different shape. But if they're in a packet, well, I've got to stick my hand in and pick. I can't pull one out and go, I don't like the look of that one, put it back and try again, because nobody wants me touching their food. So even that small difference of how we present something might make a task more pleasurable for somebody that actually wants to do it. Because I do want a Revel. I just want the Revel that I like, not the potluck Revel.
No, and it's like there's a picture of someone where someone just goes, if you want to really mess people up, there's like a glass bowl and it says, in here are Skittles and M&Ms. You're like, okay, I can either have something nice and chocolatey with a crunch, or it's going to be hard and sweet and chewy.
Yes.
And it's like, that's evil. It's that certainty we all like to know.
We all like to know, or some of us thrive on that uncertainty, and they'll be doing that. And they'll be the ones that set that up thinking it's a good idea, and they'll be buying those packets of Doritos roulette.
And let's not even get anywhere near who would eat oysters. I had a snail once, and it was once. And it was one of the things, my daughters were about 4 or 5, and I was in Malta, someone offered me a snail. I'm going, no. And in my head, I heard the voice, Well, you won't know if you haven't tried it.
Yeah.
Like you say to your kids, I'm going. So I even basically talked myself into trying it. And it was horrible. Absolutely disgusting. I can't tell you what it tasted of. I can tell you how it felt.
How it felt, yeah, because that's the overriding thing. And there are things that you just don't want to eat, aren't there? There are things that I don't want to put in my mouth. It's not whether I like them or not. I just don't want them in there. Thank you very much. And again, that's different for everybody.
It's like if you watch this, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yes.
Snakes, fine. Spiders, fine. Make me eat something, no.
Yeah, I'm
No.
out on that one as well. And when you watch them do those food challenges, what do? They squeal, they jump up and down, and quite often they flap their hands. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Regulation strategies coming in there loud and clear. We all use them because we all have to regulate because we're all sensory beings. It's just for some of us, it's part of our daily life. Others of us have to work a little harder at it.
There should be a version of I'm a Celebrity Out of Here where you can push a button and you get that commentary from like an OT.
Yeah, absolutely. I do that. I taught my thing. Look at that. Look what they're doing. They're regulating now.
Hope we don't do that in the cinema.
No, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dream of it. If they want me making a noise behind somebody, might upset them.
Oh, yeah. Something about I've paid to watch this, and I'm saying that in my head. I'm going, listen to you. So have they. Stop moaning. I'm not having this argument on whether or not I should get grumpy or not.
Yeah, I know. And that's then when you miss something. I miss what's happening because I've got lost in my own thoughts about how annoyed I am at them making a noise behind me. And then that's it. I've missed it. And then I know it's my fault as well. So I'm even more cross.
See, my wife always gets annoyed with me because I would probably eat whatever is in front of me before the end of the trailers. But that's so I can then focus on the film.
Absolutely.
So, wolf's down the popcorn, back whether it's in the bag we've bought in or whatever. Just don't open it until it's loud, so I don't have to draw attention to it. Hoof it all up. Film starts. I'm finished. I'm in the film.
Yeah. And then check your beard when you come out and it's daylight.
Yes. Definitely.
You can just imagine that sticky popcorn.
Yes. Not had it yet, I don't think. But I think I'm paranoid about it, so I just
you
sit
check.
here going. Thank you for coming on the show today. I can personally guarantee it's not the worst podcast I've ever done, so you will not have to eat your house.
Thanks. I'm safe.
Chocolate.
I might eat my sweet though when we're finished because it's been tantalising me now.
You can finish unwrapping the rest of it. Yes. Absolutely loved it. I always love the sensory stuff, and I've watched you deliver that sweet talk at a conference where everyone in the room has that sweet, which is great fun. And it's always fun because you bring your own sweets, so you give it a variety.
Yes.
There's like a fight for the Moam, and then there's the chocolate eclairs. There's some boiled sweets. And that's the thing, they're all different.
Oh yeah, can't assume everyone wants the same sweet.
But everyone does want the Moam.
They're good, aren't they?
So thank you for coming to the show today. As always, Ali's given me loads of links to various things. So lots of links to her school sensory solutions, some of her courses that she's created. She's got a new sensory champion course, I believe.
I have indeed, yes. A 2-day course to take you to be a sensory champion, particularly geared at schools. Open to anyone, but yeah, I think every school needs a sensory champion out there. Knowing this stuff, looking at it, having some skills and some confidence to try and work out what's going on for the kids in school and how we can make their school experience better for them. So yeah, 2-day online course will give you all the skills you need to be able to go away and do that.
Lovely. And as always, you'll find the all those links in our show notes, and you'll find the show notes wherever you listen to the podcast or on the Sendcast website. So thank you for listening to the show. If you haven't subscribed already, click on that subscribe button. And don't forget you can follow us on various social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok. You will find us somewhere. Generally find the amazing posts my team do. Random or something from the podcast, but there'll be lots there to have a look at and enjoy. And if you're looking for a simple, secure way to capture and share evidence of learning, or a way to capture pupil voice, a way to celebrate and share achievements, or a simple, safe way to communicate with parents, you need to have a look at Eversense. Eversense is our evidence system that does so much more to help boost parental engagement. To find out more about Eversense, visit the Bees website, and you'll find out all the other stuff we do there as well. You can also choose to book a meeting with me, and there's a link in the show notes as well. And I can take you through what Eversense does, how you can use it in your school, and what it will do for you. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Sendcast. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.